I mean, Jimmy Kimmel out here crying. I mean, it's pathetic. And so my question is, if you're going to have a late night comedy show, at some point, people might expect it to be funny and not just a constant political screed against one party. And I don't know that this activism for 4 more years is sustainable if you're going to market something as comedy, but the actual product is nothing more than sort of lowbrow political activism.
These people represent the way a lot of people feel. So it would actually be interesting if the Trump folks could actually make us feel like we're not going to take away your rights. And that doesn't make sense. You think it doesn't make sense. A lot of people think that actually makes sense. That is the way a lot of people feel.
That is their audience.
Is that their mission, to be activists and not comedians?
Well, sometimes the comedian does stop telling jokes and say serious things. And generally, a real comedian will have a serious moment in an hour-long set where I'm talking to you as a human to human, and then come in with a joke. But yes, comedians absolutely have the right to say serious, real things about the world. That has been a part of comedy.
Elon Musk, who this morning tweeted, Kimmel is an insufferable nonsense propaganda puppet, which at least my children like me, it's... But I have to take issue with that. The guy who paid people $1 million a day to vote for Donald Trump is calling me a propaganda puppet.
Yes, I thought by now these people would stop. The mainstream media cannot stop. They are going after Elon Musk, crying every single day after the elections. When I watch CNN, MNBC, and even Jimmy crying about Elon Musk, that should tell you something. They never expected that he's a fake who he'll resort. Taking a look at this tweet, Anna says that Elon Musk is President Trump's first lady. She recently got along with that one. Guess he would just give up now that he is being seen by just a genius. Elon Musk appeared on a photo. This picture is making these people to freak out like never before. I knew that after the elections, this will happen. Then just imagine if Trump never won, what they would do to Elon Musk. Just imagine that, a scenario like that. The man could have been finished. They would do everything possible. He should go down.
The world. That has been a part of comedy forever, that we can say things that the average person wouldn't say.
Just one other point. During the Biden years, there was nobody that provided more comedy fodder possible than Joe Biden. I mean, he was a walking...
He was made fun of.
He was absolutely not.
He was
left alone. Harris was left alone.
No.
They got nothing. They didn't get 10% of what they deserved.
He's too old. He doesn't understand. I mean, he seemed like Gerald Ford, the way they portrayed Gerald Ford.
SNL never got Biden right until Carvey came in the last couple of weeks.
They roasted him at the White House Correspondents' Day.
I think comedians actually have a different problem here, which is that I think people are a little bit bored of Donald Trump. In both directions, and I think you see this in the frankly in the cable news ratings. You see it in circulation numbers and subscription numbers for publications that are not the New York Times. I think that the level of sustained interest, not just outrage, but just interest in following day to day, who did he fire today, that kind of stuff, I think is a lot lower. And I think it's not just a problem for news. I think it is a problem for the late night shows. If the late night shows were broadly of interest to people who can't stand Donald Trump, their ratings would be a lot higher than they are.
Kind of lost it about Dana Carvey's impression of him this weekend. It's not going to go over too well with this new crowd.
No. Look, I don't watch late night, except for your show.
That sounded like an admission.
But I do think that even if you're a comedian who spends all of your time making fun of the world, there is a certain seriousness with which you have to take this period in American history. And when a guy like Donald Trump comes around and says he wants to terminate the Constitution and be a dictator on day one.
Never happened.
Yeah, well, he tried to when he tried to overturn the last president.
Nothing would do more damage to Kamala's campaign than going on Joe Rogan, because she'd run out of non sequiturs after about 45 minutes.
Yeah, you can't hide in 3 hours.
Apparently, Elon created an app, and he knew...
Absolutely nobody is going to convince me that Donald Trump didn't this election, because he 100% did. You're telling me that Elon Musk
Yeah, TMZ posted this. Joe Rogan just spewed some serious next level insider information saying Elon Musk knew hours before the official results dropped that Trump had already won the election. And Libras are fuming, assuming that Elon Musk did something for Trump to win. I have seen videos upon videos partaken to this, and some are actually believing this. TMZ created this article to pass kind of information to people like something happened. On this clip, I'm going to show you what exactly is going on. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please endeavor should do that. It will do you no harm if you share this video.
And he knew who won 4 hours before the results. So as the results were coming in, before 4 hours before they called it, Dana White told me, Elon was like, I'm leaving. It's over. Donald won. He just fucking, he just somehow or another.
I'm going to go back into my pod and evaporate.
I don't know what he's getting, where he's pulling his data from, but he had.
Absolutely nobody is going to convince me that Donald Trump did this election, because he 100% did. You're telling me that Elon Musk, this super rich Uber guy who happens to be BFFs with fucking Trump, who also owns Starlink, the computer equipment that's going to count votes. You got a rich, corrupt BFF of this tyrant using his equipment to count votes. Are you kidding me? How stupid do they think people are? I swear, if Democrats are being too prideful to call this shit out, this is just American Democrats are fucking pushovers, and it's gonna cost millions of lives.
Yes, if this lady is dreaming, she should wake up. I don't understand what exactly she's talking about. What? Elon Musk and everybody on X was following Pulley Market. Pulley Market was there. People were seeing what is going on, putting money on Trump. Just few hours, I saw Trump is around 80%, 90% to win. So there was nothing. Everybody knew that this was happening. So I don't get the point why this lady will say, oh, Elon Musk used this to count. Count what exactly?
Nothing would do more damage to Kamala's campaign than going on Joe Rogan because she'd run out of non sequiturs after about 45 minutes. Didn't win the popular vote. I'm like, that's because he wasn't trying. If you actually try to win the popular vote, I think you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't take that much. I think it made a big difference that President Trump and soon-to-be Vice President Vance went on lengthy podcasts.
Yes.
I think this makes this really makes a difference because people look at like Joe Rogan's podcast, which is great, and Lex Friedman's and the All In podcast, and to a reasonable-minded, smart person who's not like hardcore one way or the other, they just listen to someone talk for a few hours, and that's how they decide whether you're a good person, whether they like you, and especially like Rogan's podcast, 3 hours long. I mean, you could. This is why I actually posted on X the nothing would do more damage to Kamala's campaign than going on Joe Rogan because she'd run out of non sequiturs after about 45 minutes.
Yeah, you can't hide in 3 hours.
Yeah, like hour 2 and 3 would be a complete melted puddle of nonsense. So it would just be absolute game over. That's why I shouldn't go on.
So I mean, how does?
But Trump. But on the hand, Trump he's there and there's no talking points. He's just being a normal person. He's having a conversation. And doing 3 hours of Rogan, no problem.
You will now understand exactly why Kamala could not show up for that interview 3 hours long. What will Kamala be discussing for 3 hours? That is a question. Because in a place like Joe Rogan, you need to be smart enough to be able to talk for 3 hours. Watching that interview, Joe Rogan said that Kamala wanted a format which he cannot work like that until they had to make it sure they should edit the interview. Joe Rogan refused. So you will understand, if Kamala could even try to show up on this interview, it will be over. Yeah, because she will blunder. Imagine Kamala doing an interview without someone there to edit.
Okay, I just saw some news article about Elon Musk being like butthurt about SNL and his impression, but I'm like, you're clearly watching the show. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna come out and say at long last that I'm the cast member that he made cry, and he's the host that made someone cry. Maybe there's others, but I saw some articles and stuff, and I was like, I'm not gonna say anything. But I'm like, no, if you're gonna like go on your platform and be rude, like, guess what? You made Chloe Fineman, burst into tears because I stayed up all night writing this sketch. I was so excited. I came in, I asked if you had any questions, and you stared at me like you were firing me from Tesla and were like, it's not funny. I waited for you to be like, haha, JK. No, then you started pawing through my script, like flipping each page, being like, I didn't laugh once, not one time. Cut to, the sketch made it on, and it was like fine, and I actually had a really good time, and I thought you were really funny in it, but, you know, have a little manners here.
These are people that are surfacing with crazy stories, videos about Elon Musk. That is to tell the extent to which they are angry. This one said Elon Musk made her to cry simply because she was not funny. You know, some of these videos to me, they are amazing. I just have to laugh through when I watch some of them. Reason I decide just to share with you so you can see exactly. Thank you guys for always being there, sharing out my videos. If you are new to my channel, I post 2 to 3 videos a day, making sure to update you on what is happening in around you. And please, when you see my notification, always share the videos. It helps the algorithm to recommend.
Catch a dub.
That's a great perfect.
You want to sign the line? Oh wait, that's not markers. You're right across.
I want you to know what would change after doing this.
Comes out against Trump.
I don't care if they write that.
So, with that, I'm going to shake it off.
That guy.
I mention that guy's name. He's such an absolute prick. I can't stand him. But anyway,
Hey there. How are you doing? If you watch this show regularly, I'm guessing you're not doing great. Yeah.
Is what will the rest of us be doing on day one? Right? Now's the time to stand in solidarity with our friends, with our neighbors.
Well,
Bishop Vigano, he says that
these numbers. $10 million for Beyonce.
How do you think the election went?
Not talking about the election.